Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are the three largest asset managers, managing around $20 trillion in wealth, in other people's money that have invested in whatever funds that they recommend or advocate through all their financial managers. But the most important point here to keep in mind is the ESG, which is environmental and social and governance, which is basically incentivizing by these behemoths of finance against investment in fossil fuels, right? So ESG represents incentivizing people to not invest in oil production. However, there's a big dissonance between what's actually going on in the world and what these giant firms are advocating, and there's actually a big pushback from funds who are actually drawing significantly higher returns than these ESG funds are drawing, because again, ESG is assuming that there's going to be this magical transition from fossil fuels to just green energy, while overlooking the fact that we're still in a world, and will likely still be, as I mentioned in an earlier video, for the next decades, that relies on fossil fuels. So anything that claims otherwise is complete delusion. So it's just very interesting to be seeing this phenomenon from higher levels of finance, that we're going, the ESG, environmental social governance, is saying that we're going to go green immediately, but without acknowledging that all this infrastructure relies on diesel. It relies on, well, just look at a Tesla, for example. I mean, when they run out of fuel, who comes to who's the roadside assistance, right? It's trucks powered by diesel. It's diesel generators or gas power generators. So there's a lot of stuff here that is very nefarious, in the sense that it's misleading. Whether it's intentional or not is a whole other conversation, which I'm not going to weigh in on in this current video, but you can either attribute it to incompetence or willful misleading of the public. But this is something that's very important, because there's, at this point, ESG is becoming basically exposed as something that's not what it is being made out to be. And more importantly, funds are saying, well, why are you prioritizing this agenda over profits, right? Like, if somebody's pension or 401k is invested, or just an investor in general is invested in something, why would they continue to invest in that brokerage house or in that fund when they realize that fund or brokerage house has no interest in whether that asset increases in value or not? It's all about virtue signaling and being ESG compliant, but yet the value is not there. The increase in profits is not there. It often can be a decrease in profits, but it's ESG, so let's virtue signal and let's make everybody believe this is good, but yet everybody's losing money. That just doesn't make sense from a practical perspective. So it's just very interesting that you had Jamie Dimon come out again. I mentioned this in a recent video, my previous video, that he was in a congressional hearing, and Rashida Tlaib said, well, are you going to stop investing in fossil fuels? He said, no, why would we do that? That would be a road to hell for America. So it's interesting that CEOs at high levels of not just finance, but corporate America are starting to blow the whistle on this and say, hey, this is getting kind of out of control. I mean, we thought this was, and a lot of them, for example, you have Chevron, Michael Wirth, they have a stake in the ESG stuff, but there's a limit to which it can be taken to. I mean, so again, I mean, Jamie Dimon, which is J.P. Morgan Chase, saying, I mean, this isn't even making sense. Let's realize that our economy still runs on fossil fuels, and let's not shut that down and destroy every prospect of prosperity for not just, you know, regular everyday people, but for corporations, right? This stuff is all connected. So anyway, ESG is something to pay attention to, whether you're an investor or not. It's just something that influences where investment goes, and there's already many trillions of dollars invested into it. But there are some hopeful signs that even mainstream investment houses are figuring out, maybe not BlackRock, Vanguard, or State Street, but you know, funds that have hundreds of millions of dollars being invested into them are figuring out, oh wait, this is actually not where the world is going from here. Like, in other words, they're kind of dispelling the delusion. So anyway, that was something that I thought was important, and I will see you in the next video.